once again. Today's first episode is going to be the Playhouse Disney and Disney Junior tier list, featuring Billy the Dolphin. And now, we're about to be doing the first ever, the shows that they're really the worst and hate, don't like bad, educational, like and good. So, yeah. First up is Bear in the Big Blue House. Well, technically, it's from the same creators who does the Muppets and stuff like that. So, I would say it's really educational. It's like Sesame Street, but a little bit particular these days. So, yeah. Next up we have here is blech, Go Baby. Do you know why? Because, it's really humor to having babies who doesn't speak. It's like a Baby Einstein type of ripoff, but it's not really true. And nothing's more companion to like all of the shows or shorts. Like, I have to be agreed with all that. Next up we have here is Daniel Cook. Do you know why? Because Daniel Cook is like a real life boy who likes to do like some of the favorite activities that he's doing every day whenever he's out of preschool. And yeah. So I would say the best of love. Because I'm really a huge fan of the short, like Once and For All. And my dad was actually like, how about some Daniel Cook? Yeah. I would say he's really a good celebrity, but sometimes he likes to do cool things like that. Next up we have here is Higglytown Heroes. Well, speaking of which, this show is about like how we help out in the whole neighborhood with some of the cool friends, whoever's in danger and stuff like that. We have to find like something special, like a fireman or a policeman or a window cleaner or a pizza guy. Like in the picture on Google Images, you'll probably know that pizza guy was actually like a ripoff to like a Domino's pizza type of person. See? He's like a Domino's pizza type of person. Like, you've got to be kidding me. Like, that is really the fair enough chance that he's really like a ripoff. And some other, like a Marine Sea Captain and like many more stuff like that. So, yeah. That will go in like and good. Because they like to help out as a team in some sort of relationships. Next up we have here is the Doodlebops. Well, it's like the Wiggles and also the Movers, but a little bit in particular in Drake and Josh, and the Blues Brothers, and also Big Time Rush. So I would say it's best of love, because their songs are like, they're making me want to rock the world out loud and shout. And yeah, if I was Modoodle, I would say like, hey you guys! Like that type of loud Mo. It's like the Goonies / the Electric Company type of reference, so to speak. Next up we have the Ooh and Ah shorts, or more like the Ooh and Ah bumpers. I would say the best of love, because they're both puppets. And I really miss their puppets so much that I wouldn't be able to speak. So, yup. Cool. Next up is Little Einsteins. Well, I would say the show is definitely another, I think it's like and good. Do you know why? Because, or very educational. Do you know why? They teach kids how to make music and stuff. And also they have a ripoff of Baby Einstein. Because Little Einsteins premiered in 2005 after Baby Einstein made its own VHS releases. Or more like DVD releases. But they also teach kids how to find their way out with all the music and finding an animal or an object to find a way back home. So, yeah. And every time Rocket goes like ding, 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 like that. Because Rocket is actually like a trans type of rocket who likes to fly across the world. Like in our huge adventure, you'll probably see New York City and Vermont in like those sections of like near Massachusetts. So yeah. Next up we have here is Charlie and Lola. I would say it's the don't like section. Do you know why? Because that show came out after the Teletubbies premiered on PBS Kids. Which seems sick because I'm glad it got canceled from Playhouse Disney to CBeebies, which is known as BBC Kids. And BBC Kids is like how they made Teletubbies and Tweenies and Fumbles and stuff like that. Or Fimbles, whatever that crappy show is. But they like to go on fake adventures throughout any history or time. Next up is Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. Best of Love. Because of the old Toodles type of reference, everyone's funny. And it's more creative. So yeah. Next up we have here is Emily Young. But before that, Goofy is like the same guy who likes to do like good cartoons on the block. And stuff like that. But Donald Duck seems like... Yep. He likes to scream in some times of episodes. So, Minnie and Daisy and Pluto were like a little bit different than the cartoon versions. But sometimes in movies, like The Great Clubhouse Hunt and Choo Choo Express, they've got like not some sort of double feature Mousecatools, but a little bit to solve puzzles and mystery solving skills. So, yeah. Emily Young is actually like a spin-off of Daniel Cook. So I would think it's liking good. So it's like a spin-off, but a little bit different. Next up we have here is Handy Manny. Best of Love. Do you know why? Let me give you a comparisons on Google. Handy Manny and Bob the Builder. Because it looks like Nelvana made Handy Manny, and Hit Entertainment made Bob the Builder. Did you see that? Those builders just made a reference. Like, what the hell? What the hell is that? I have no idea. Their tools looks like they're like able to speak. But in Bob the Builder, they have machines. Like, I do have a show called Tales of Bob the Builder, which was now on my YouTube channel, but it still keeps going along. Next up is PB&J Otter. I would say I don't really like that show. Why? Because it's like a ripoff to one of the good stories from the shows. Like, I can't even explain about that. Next up we have here is Johnny and the Sprites. I would say it's liking good. Do you know why? Because Carrera Rudolph and Carmen Oshbar, the two actors from Sesame Street, plays Ginger and the blue guy. Or the blue girl. What is that blue girl from Johnny and the Sprites? Let's see what the blue character is. I think it's Lily. Let's say that girl is like Lily. Lily the Water Sprite voiced Rosita, like the actor who plays Rosita on Sesame Street. And Ginger is actually the voice who plays Abby on Sesame Street as well. Like, look at this. The whole cast is like really, really serious. But they even have the first ever DVD called Meet the Sprites. I wish it will come on Disney Plus, but not to be exact, because I don't know if the streaming service might bought its property to, I don't know. Happy Puppet Productions or the Jim Henson Company. Who knows about that? Alright, switch topics. My friends Tickling Pooh. Well, I would say it's looking good. Because they like to help the super sleuths figuring out what mysteries that they need to solve. Like Scooby-Doo, for example. Scooby-Doo makes lots of mysteries in their own sequels. And it's like the many adventures of Winnie the Pooh, but a little bit different than that. So, yeah. Next up we have here is Happy Monster Band. Well, I guess this show is like only educational. Because they like to teach children how to sing loud and proud. But it's actually a ripoff to like Trolls and some other band artists like I was talking about, Doodlebops. So it's like the same exact thing, but a little bit different. So, yeah. Next up we have here is Bunnytown, Best of Love. Well, do you know why? Let me give you 2 reasons. Jack's Big Music Show came out in 2007, and Bunnytown came out, like, after Jack's Big Music Show. So that could only have the same difference because Spiffy Pictures bought its company, not the Jim Henson. Just the person who plays Baby Bear, David Rudman, and Adam Rudman, compared to make its own series by Spiffy Pictures. So, yeah. And I also made a tribute to David Rudman in my YouTube channel, so you might have to check it out real soon. Or just now. If you want to search it up, that's totally fine. Next up, well, before that, it's like a ripoff to like Lazy Town and Sesame Street in particular. Because you've got the King's Castle, the school, the inventor, and you've got the pretending, Miss Talkable Mr. Noodles, Red and Fred. And the sports lady, who's actually a ripoff to like, the USA National Olympics, Pinky Pinkerton. So, yeah, that's all the stuff that they have to do about it. So, yeah, Mistaken Elmo's World ripoffs of Red and Fred is like, they're like a little bit similar to the Mr. Noodle Brothers. Next up we have here is, Can You Teach My Alligator Manners? I would say it's don't like, because Al was actually ruining everything in particular. Because whenever Al uses the bathroom impolitely and going to a restaurant and ruins their meal, that will be extremely mad. But Mikey solves their problems to make Al the alligator stop. So, whenever they were not sharing at a playground, or like a swing, or in particular in manners. So that's what Al gets from being a troublemaker in front of the whole cast. So, yeah. He's like a troublemaker. Poor Al the alligator. Next up we have here is the Imagination Movers. It's more like a problem-solving band that looks a little bit like the Wiggles and stuff like that. So, yeah, in other words, let me put it into Best of Love. Do you know why? Because they have a puppet named Warehouse Mouse, but in the Doodlebops they have Audio Murphy. In the Wiggles, they do have similar puppets from Season 1 and Season 2, but they've got mascots from the later seasons. So, yeah. Next up, we've got, well, the songs from the Movers are like a little bit different than the other band artist ones. I like Blues Brothers more like the best. Next up we have here is a Thomas and Friends ripoff, Blah! Chuggington. Gotta put that one on hate. Because their announcer thing looks like Sir Topham Hatt. Let me just give you a little bit of heads up by the announcer voice and Sir Topham Hatt from Thomas. Because I have to find the announcer thing. V looks like Sir Topham Hatt in particular, but he looks like Sir Topham Hatt as a cool figure. See how we compare to all the bosses in different shows. Like, Boss My Bumpers. bust my buffers. So, yeah. Worst hated show of Chuggington, which I really hate. Next up is Tasty Time with Suflunk. I really don't like that cooking show because it's like a ripoff to a Between the Lions cooking show, What's Cooking? Because in like nutrition, like, we have to get back to Captain Carlos in a minute, but who knows about that? Let me give you a particular between Suflunk and Captain Carlos. Okay, Suflunk is actually like a chef who likes to make healthy stuff. And also Captain Carlos is the healthiest superhero who likes to make nutrition stuff. So, I would say I really don't like the series that is that much. Next up is Special Agent Oso. Do you know it's really the good show? Because of the James Bond prequels, that Oso needs to complete their own assignments before they help kids, like, around the globe. Like, you'll see, like, the Gordon Express train ripoff, Repeat, and the Huxley helicopter ripoff, Worry Bird. But every time in the episode of any other episodes, Oso might say, like, Worry! Whenever he falls off, and Worry Bird says, like, before he says that, wanna launch? You got it, Oso! That's my own impression that I have to speak up with. Next up we have here is Junction. Blech! It's really bad. Do you know why? Because of the animal moving vehicles, and they like to go on disgusting adventures. Like, animals don't have poop or something like that. Like, only animals have their own legs and feet, not real cars. Whatever. Moving on. Roly Poly Oly. Don't like that show. Do you know why? Because it's a ripoff of the Backyardigans and Handy Mandy. Because it's really the same company as those other shows. Like Nirvana Corporation. As we speak up. Because those robotic humans like to do, like, some familiar stuff on the way there. So, heck yeah. This show is on the haters list once and for all. Next up we have here is blah, Tinga Tales. Put that one on hate. I used to love that show, but not anymore. Because this show is like a zoo. It's like a zoo who likes to be taught about it. Next up is another hated show, Octonauts. Because it's like Dolphin Tale or some type of sea creaturing adventure. It's like anytime some sort of marine biologist's wife was there like to go on marinist adventures in a lifetime. Next up we have here is Babar and the Adventures of Badoo, which was, I really don't like that show. Because the critics from Nirvana Corporation's as bad as heck. Just like it was last time, then a second. Next up is blah, Jake and the Neverland Pirates. Because it's a Peter Pan ripoff, which I love Peter Pan the most. And Jake is a ripoff of Captain Jack Sparrow. But let me give you a comparison between Jake and Captain Jack Sparrow. Captain Jack. Because Jake is the one who's actually told the viewers what to expect about how to be a pirate. And Captain Jack Sparrow, he's like a pirate who does do nothing. And Captain Feathersword from the Wiggles, he's more like a tickling captain. He's more like a tickling captain in that image. He voiced by Paul Paddock in the later series. But Captain Jack Sparrow is being endangered. Captain Feathersword thinks that he's really ticklish. And Jake, he likes to tell viewers about what's happening in some sort of adventures belonging beneath the sea. So that's how do we expect it. And oh, forgot to mention, Bunnytown also has a pirate named Pirate Bunny, or as I will call it, Captain Bunny Sparrow. Hey, are you talking about me, or was I talking about you? Captain Bunny Sparrow, get out. Okay, arg. Whatever. So, next up we have here is Small Potatoes. Hatest show ever. Do you know why? Those fruits and vegetables, they sing a lot. And it's really a ripoff to my other mediocre show on Cartoon Network, Annoying Orange. So we'll get that. We'll change topics again. Gaspard and Risa don't like it at all because they like to make fake friendships like Olivia the Pig, which I really hate the most. And you know who else is a ripoff of Olivia the Pig? Doc McStuffins. Like, blah! Another worst hated show, it's like a ripoff of Grey's Anatomy that teaches kids how to give flu shots, give checkups, and furthermore, they like to puke on the doctor, which was not cool by stuffed animals and stuff. They like to give COVID-19 the fake reason. God. On the next section we have here is Sophia the First. Like, it's a good show. My sis really enjoyed watching that show. And this show was coming out to Disney Plus this month. Like, this is already gonna happen. Already. Like, I cannot believe Sophia the First has ever come out this month or so. Like, speaking of that, Bear is coming to Disney Plus this month, which is crazy. But this princess is about, like, she's meeting, like, all the different princesses around the world, and she uses her amulet to discover which princess is real. Next up we have here is Sheriff Callie's Wild West. Give that one on the haters list, because she's like Sheriff Woody and Jessie from Toy Story, in my opinion. Which seems Toy Story is like way better than this crappy show. Next up is Out of the Box, which is really a ripoff to Gullah Gullah Island. And it has fake songs and stuff like that. Nina Needs to Go, blah. Another bad one. Because she wants to go to the bathroom like so bad. Feel like she's really constipated as crap. Like, what the hell, dude? Why can't you use the bathroom on your own? Before your parents are just deciding what to go. Alright, whatever. Change the topic. Next up is the Don't Like show, Miles from Tomorrowland. Because it's a ripoff to a Disney park named Tomorrowland because of the futuristics of Space Invaders and stuff like that as well. But they like to go on space adventures around the globe nation. And, yeah. My Little Pony ripoff. Well, I would say it's bad as well. Because it's a ripoff of My Little Pony. That doesn't give a crap. Goldie and Bear. Blah. It's a ripoff of Super Y, so I would give that as another bad look. Because they told nursery rhymes about the Three Little Pigs, but right now they told about Goldilocks and the Three Bears. So they made an old show. So that counts as another ripoff of Little Bear. So, yeah. PJ Masks. Well, I like Superman, Batman, and Marvel better, which means, ugh, it's the worst hated show of all time. Because the Cat, Bat, and Gecko, they're both awful. Next up is the Lion Guard, or more like the Lion King ripoff. Lion King is better, to be honest, and I want to put it on the hates list. Because it's bad as hell, and I don't really like it. Next up we have here is the Elena of Avalor, which was another princess. Blah! Another hated show. Because it's a ripoff to, like, Encanto in some other ways. And another one is Mickey and the Roaster Racers. Bad show. Because it's like a Mario Kart ripoff. Because I like Mario Kart better than this, and the Cars trilogy's better. Next up we have here is the animated Homeward Bound ripoff, Puppy Dog Pals. Or as I call it, The Adventures of Milo and Otis ripoff. Which I love these movies better than that. Because they like to go on puppyish adventures in the whole city. Not just Homeward Bound and Milo and Otis. It's just Puppy Dog Pals. Next up is the Count from Sesame Street ripoff, Vampirina. I really hate that show as well. Because they like to teach people how to laugh so hard, and not just the Count, but the girl named Vampirina. Because she's like a Dracula, then the Count. The Count from Sesame Street, who says like, one, duality. Who said that? It was me. Why are you making fun of my girlfriend? Vampirina. Count Von Count. The reason why I was doing that is because she ripped off of your show. Your show of the number of the day. Sorry. Anyways, move on. Madeline. Because I never saw the series and the movies, so I might have to put on the worst hate list. Muppet Babies, I would say it's the don't like. I know I do like the Muppets, but except for the CGI version, I just really don't give a crud. Because Jim Henson made a bad artwork of the whole cast. Like, shouldn't have Jim Henson already bought the company, or just Muppets Holding Company? Like, I don't understand what Jim Henson already bought from Muppet Babies, but it's just different references between the Jim Henson Company and the Disney Company as well. I'm gonna do some research on Earth to Ned, because it was on Disney Plus by the Jim Henson Company and the Disney Company. So, there's that. With the Jim Henson type of show, like, we don't give a crud about that. Because Earth to Ned is like, Fraggle Rock. Blah. Who knows about that? Fancy Nancy, which I really don't like. She's like a sing girl who looks like blah, which I really love Annie. She's like a ripoff of Annie. And another Jurassic Park ripoff, Dinosaurs. Blah. Dinosaurs was actually fake. And the Penguins of Madagascar ripoff, Tots, I will put that one here because it's really bad. The Rocketeer is also bad because they made fun of a horrible show that was from the 2000s called Top Gun, which I really love it better. And speaking of Top Gun, we'll get to the Koala Brothers in just a minute. Next up we have here is Mira. Blah. Another hated show of all time. And do you know what show is really good for the puppets? The Book of Pooh. I'll put that one on the like and good list. Because the cast from Shadow Projects made its own hard work. And they done a good job. But they still need to keep practice again. For making its own choice religious, so to speak. Next up we have here is Stanley. Which means it's don't like. Do you know why? Cartoon Pizza might have bought the company after they premiered Pinky Dinky Doo and, speaking of which, JoJo Circus. It only has an It ripoff, which seems kind of bad, which it also comes with a Batman's character ripoff, the Joker. But Stanley, he's more like an adventurous type of person. Both shows are made by the same company called Cartoon Pizza. But let me take a first look here of Cartoon Pizza. Not the normal food, but the logo itself. Who bought, like, after Sesame Workshop made its own shows. He's not really a cool dude, but he sometimes look like a worldwide delivery, like the fan-made Cartoon Network logo, for example. Like, it's really fake as hell. God. How come Cartoon Pizza made its own work then, Like Global Thingy, for example. Global Thingy belongs to Sesame Street segments, not to the Cartoon Pizza Corporation. Damn! Next up we have here, last but not least we have here is the Koala Brothers. Like, I forgot to mention, this show reminds me of Top Gun. So, I would put it as the like and good section. Because, let me give you a similar interest to the Koala Brothers, and most likely, Top Gun. So, Top Gun is about airplanes who likes to fly and shoot people. Koala Brothers means they like to fly all over the place and help other animal friends who's actually in trouble. My favorite character itself was the duck person and Archie the crocodile. Because, you know, hey, I'm Archie! That's him, alright? I've done impressions with him a lot of times since I was walking. So, this is Colin Dykeman saying, signing you out. We hope you enjoy my tier lists real soon before you know it. Over and out.